Let's not do that. Hello, hi. Hello, everyone. Um, Upstairs in my bathroom and getting out the door. Um, if you've been following me recently, on the 30th of um, June, I broke my collarbone in two. And um, I grew up on a farm, and I think I maybe numbed myself for various reasons, um, and stopped experiencing like pain, maybe emotional, maybe physical, maybe whatever. But since so it's been a tough 7 years. And so it really has been a tough, like when my husband died by suicide, my son Logan said it's been a tough 7 years. So I guess, mathematically speaking, it may be close to 15 years. But yeah, I'm healing. The clavicle is the most a broken bone in the human body. And when and the other thing is, when even if you're 50 years old, which was what, 2022, even if you're 48 years old, which was, I was just looking at the year, my husband died when I was 46, and it was devastating. It has been devastating. The abandonment feelings and issues that have sort of occurred as a result of insensitivity or people, and grief has been beyond my comprehension, truthfully. So, um, for example, one of my siblings, when my husband died, snarkily said, yeah, yeah, her husband dies by suicide, and that sibling is, having a, some sort of breakdown or whatever. And my family is famous for talking out loud behind people's back and saying, don't tell that sibling, dad, mom, or grandma that. And so it's so annoying because there's little games that end up being played. Well, anyway, point being, ugh, my goodness, I was in the hospital and by myself, and I was absolutely in tremendous amounts of pain, and so much so the I would apologize to the hospital staff because I would just be so angry. One of my initial uh, responses, and again, I accept. For bearing with me as I um, get my teeth brushed. By the way, if you've been following my material for any part of uh, or any time, what there's little things that are sprinkled in that sort of are wellness sprinkles. And so the one thing you can do is start your day over at any time. For me, one thing that I do, even if I've already brushed my teeth, which I haven't today, but it's like if I'm at work, and I have a toothbrush and toothpaste, I go brush my teeth. I might like, you know, wet my eyes, kind of just wet my face down. I tend not to wear a lot of makeup, um, but I also always check. One thing that I see, the shoulder just is throbbing, and right now it's throbbing up here. It's almost like my nerves have been like lit up for more than 30 days. I do not have. If any of you have any suggestions about nerve agitation, pain, tingling, any of that stuff, please go ahead and make a note below. But anyway, I created Thor Wellness Group in the wake of my husband's death. Years ago, I created Martha Elizabeth cards with my sister-in-law in the wake of my grandmother, my maternal grandmother's death, who I love dearly, was a very strong Presbyterian lady, and had a trivet of the Serenity Prayer, and in her kitchen, and I always found that to be so curious in her little cottage-like home in Branchville, New Jersey. But that to say, I've got to get out of the house, and I am meeting a dear, sweet, and lovely lady, a friend of mine. Her name is Cindy Longenecker, and she is one of a number of ladies in my life who sort of looks out after me because life has just been hard. And I sort of had this thing going on and when I reflect back, I sort of had this thing, the same kind of dynamic and phenomena going on as I grew up in this tiny, at that time, now suburb, but tiny little small town called Farmington, Minnesota. And there was a gal, Carrie Fitch's mom and dad. They really kind of looked out after me. I can remember Mr. Fitch and Mrs. Fitch saying, "If you need a ride, we will. It's fine." And they always offered me volleyball rides. I can remember Shannon Wolf. I could go on and on, but like, thank you, Jesus, right, for girl power, because ladies many times step in and they just step in the gaps. It's just ladies oftentimes do step in the gaps. So Sheryl Sandberg, this one's for you. Thank you for your 2 books. And just so you know, I had read your second book. So sorry for the loss of your husband. I read your second book way before my husband died. And listen, everybody, listen, viewers, I was at Morgan Stanley, and my intention was to do financial planning for not the middle class, but for the emerging, 20s and 30s individuals. And hopefully I call them whales, like big clients. And then, people that were hitting retirement, like probably 5 years before retirement, just to ensure readiness, hopefully secure planning for retirement, because so often the media, and I'm talking United States media, programming, is fear mongering. And so this is true even with the markets. The truth is billionaires can leverage, like, for example, I call Warren Buffett Grandpa Warren. He can leverage if he moves anything because of Berkshire Hathaway. And people just really, ladies out there, you just really have to just begin to understand how the markets work. And if you want an idea, here's an idea for a young or for young or old, right? I always like to cover like from east to west, from north to south. So for anybody really, but if you don't feel comfortable, but you want to learn about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, take $1 or $10. I actually would recommend $100 and just put it in Bitcoin and just leave it there. And then take this, if you can just, okay, so let's say you have an emergency account of, let's say you, instead of, when I went to Dave Ramsey, it was always $1,000 emergency account, but let's just pretend you do $2,500 of an emergency account. And so let's say your comfort zone is having $1,500 of cash for insurance purposes, right? Take the other 1,000 and divide it into 10, and then just pick an index fund. Is great for 401ks, but just select stocks that interest you. And so Warren Buffett always says, know what you're investing in. When I was at Morgan Stanley, and I was there 2011 to 2012, about 18 months, I think. I didn't see anything wrong with, I would get questions about Bitcoin. I would also get questions about, the buyouts and the brokerage firms and all of the, mistrust that was going on because of the banking and the absolute predatory lending for, mortgages. And there's a lot of talk, by the way, right now about similar things. So anyway, my point is if you have $1,000 and you divide it into 10 100s, right? And you put 100 in Bitcoin and maybe $10 in Ethereum, just theoretically, I'm not giving you financial advice, but then, so now you got, you got 890 left. You can, in a safe place, stick it in a S&P 500 index funds, because the S&P 500, in general seems to perform pretty strongly as far as the indexes are concerned, index/indicators, right? And so, and then, so maybe go ahead and put 190 into an index fund, just theoretically, right? And then pick, it's so funny. Warren Buffett loves Coke. Actually, the taste tests prove that Pepsi tastes better, but Coke's brand is more familiar. And whether it was Pepsi or Coke, if you would just put like $100 in here, and and I'm particularly interested in teaching high school to pre-K, right? But also college kids. If you can put $100 in something, then you realize you've started with an easy measure to figure out what the returns are. So anyway, my point is, you take that $1,000, you divvy it up, okay? 100 in Bitcoin, 10 in ETH. What did I say? So I guess I should have said 190, almost 200 in an index fund. I think there's a couple like Fidelity, Vanguard. There's a number of funds out there. And then pick individual stocks for the remainders so that you can learn. When you are in your early 20s, when you're a teenager, you don't need to worry about hedging as much. Now, hedging just simply means giving protection and security to the downside. So if our markets plummet and you have bonds, the bonds aren't going to necessarily react and respond the same way the securities or stocks do. Treasury funds right now, or treasuries are paying interest at a high or rate than I expected. But I pay attention, and I did private equity when I was at Morgan Stanley. I was encouraged to learn more about municipality and bonds. I've been doing some research on deeds and I'm going to say more creative investing, such as self-driven IRAs, deeds, and there's two things that go hand in hand. It's more of like, a municipality can, if somebody's not paying their land taxes in America, you have to pay taxes. They get put on a list, and every single state or county can be unique. Not that they all are, but let's say I haven't paid my mortgage for 6 months. I live in Lucas County in a sweet suburb of Toledo called Sylvania, Ohio. Means trees, like Pennsylvania. And so, but let's just say I was in trouble. Somebody can come in and take over my mortgage. Many times when you see I buy houses for cash, that might be one of those things. You will be systematically put into a foreclosure track from the bank, from their mortgage company. And then there's people that can indeed swoop in and pay your taxes or your mortgage, or they can go to the county, get a deed. I might be misspeaking here because I'm not remembering exactly. It's been about a month and a half since I was doing some pretty decent research in this space, but they can put a lien. So your liens and deeds, in certain municipalities, you can invest in them. And let's just say me as a homeowner, I don't pay it, and you are invested in the lien or the deed on my house. I could lose my house. You, the municipality, and somebody else, I don't know, somebody is paying you, let's just call it 6%, 7, 8, maybe 15% interest on your money. Okay. So that's an interesting angle. And they, in certain cases, can assume your home because they own the deed after whatever the contract reads. So folks, it's all about contract. It's all about legal language and intelligent contracts. In the NFT space, they talk about smart contracts, and in the cryptocurrency space. But that's a lot. It's a high level and a lot of information. And right now, I just want you to think about those kinds of things. Don't be afraid to ask somebody about money if you don't get it. And with that, I got to go. I got to go meet a friend. Mwah. I want you all to pray. I got a shelf going on here. Probably can't show it to you, but like my collarbone goes like, and then it drops. And so this is where the break point is. And one day soon, I'll get around to showing or taking a look at the x-rays and telling the story about that. But be well, okay? Be informed, be well, take care of yourself, do what you can to take care of other people. But if they start getting snarky, irritated, growly, I call it grizzly, back off and go away. There's no reason. I heard this funny thing. I read this. Don't wrestle with a turd, okay? Don't heckle with a witch. Don't argue with an insane or with somebody that's acting insane or is under, let's just say fully intoxicated by drugs or alcohol. These are just tips, nuggets. I hope that adds value to your day. Thank you very much. Pray that this pain will go away. I just found out there's like this blended Motrin and Tylenol product. It's nothing has helped with this pain. When I was released from the hospital, I had been on morphine, 2 doses of morphine that day, Percocet, Oxy, this has been just a juggernaut for me. So I'm going to end the stream. And just again, if you could just be kind, be intelligent, and just look out for people. It's the right thing to do. Okay. Mwah! God bless you. Good. And, I'm always available for coaching, but you got to register. You got to sign up, and we got to, let me know if you want to do business. If you look at my LinkedIn, you'll see my experience professionally is extensive. My education includes some international travel. So, all right. Well, I'm going for my lunch, and I'm hitting the messy hair / bun fun. So, mwah, love you all. If you don't love yourself, just borrow my love for you today, and take good care of yourself. If you feel like you don't love yourself today and you're mad or you're feeling shame or guilt, please do something nurturing. Okay. Be kind to your own soul, your own heart. Okay. Mwah. That's what it means to guard your heart. Love ya. Bye.